I know it's crazy too. It's crazy. It is 2025, and what is going on, guys? Flynn Masters coming at you with episode 11 of Hell's Kitchen season 23. Head chefs early. It's been literally almost a month. The last time I was here was 2024, December 5th, and here we are, January 2nd of a new year, 2025, a quarter of a century, quarter in of the 21st century. Yeah, that is absolutely crazy. I am so I'm so excited for this awesome occasion. Not only to be joined by my co-host, but to be joined by, in my opinion, one of, if not the most talented early boots in the show's history. And if there is ever a second chance season, this man has to be the biggest lock on the board. What is going on, Chef Anthony? How you doing, my man?
What up, everyone? Thank you again for, having me on the live stream, first live stream of 2025. So, of course, I wanted to kick this off with you guys, and what an episode to kind of review. Is the first one back after, a 2-week hiatus. So I know everyone's pretty much wow.
Yeah, it's 28 days.
Yeah, 28 long days.
I guess we'll obviously get your time on Hell's Kitchen in a second, but I guess if there's like one silver lining to be eliminated earlier is that like you didn't have to like wait this long to see yourself back on TV. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. But of course, like I said, I am joined by my co-hosts. They're all here. Let's start with Ruby. I'm sure a lot of people are kind of wondering. Why don't you go explain to the chat what happened to you?
Oh yeah, here. I basically a few days ago I was playing volleyball and face. So but apart from that, like I had a decent-ish Christmas and New Year's. Just the way my family is structured, it's a pretty small family, so there isn't let's say a big party or anything, but I'm still grateful for the time I spend with my folks, even though it's kind of like ordinary-ish for something that's supposed to be, let's say, a special occasion, but at least the food is special, so there's that. Go on.
Yeah, speaking of that, guys, it's crazy. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas. And Ultra, what is going on with you, my man? Happy 2025.
Happy to be back. Myself, I had a pretty solid Christmas as well. I got to spend time with my family back in my home state. It was cool. In recent news, because I feel as though I should have done this at least at one point, given how big a fan of this show I am, I actually tried cooking for the first time in a while. Like actual, like not just like I mentioned in a prior podcast that I tried making bruschetta. It's delicious, but it's pretty easy to make. It's a raw appetizer. I mean, like actually cooking. It was in a crock pot, but at least it's a start. It was mushroom chicken with rice and some winter vegetables. And in my opinion, at least, I didn't serve it to anybody else, so I can't get feedback. But in my opinion, I thought it turned out really well. So who knows if I keep on this path? Maybe you'll see me on the show. I doubt it.
We got Hannah,
another ex-military guy.
We got Hannah join us to stream as well to support Anthony. Yet another good episode for Hannah. So what's going on, Hannah?
Of course, Hannah's killing it. She's been killing it since literally Sig Dish since day one. So I don't expect nothing less from Hannah.
Also got Megan joining us.
Hopefully, Megan should be in the top 6 somewhere.
Real quick, I find this funny though. I know when we had Brandon on the stream, it was just only the blue team supported. So that's funny to see that the red team supported Anthony. I'm telling you, they love you, man. I'm telling you.
It's weird because you think Hell's Kitchen, you think all head chefs, but what a lot of people don't know is a lot of us actually got along a lot more behind the camera. So it's funny kind of seeing how we're all portrayed, but it's a lot of us truly did get along.
I mean, it's just normal. Like when I'm doing it, when I would do job interviews, I mean, I'm not gonna be cold with my opposition. I'm gonna try to be nice. I mean, it's also beneficial to be nice so that it would not make you look like a jerk in front of your employer.
Yeah, but ultimately, we're still trying to win. So I love my red team girls, but it's still blue team till I die. So.
And of course, to finish, what is going on, Gumball? You awake, man?
I'm awake. No, I'm doing pretty well. Survivor ended, so I've had a little bit of a break, though. Things are about to heat up back again with this season, as well as Traders starting next week. So a lot of interesting stuff coming up relatively soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. Now that Survivor's over with, it's now the Hell's Kitchen Gumball channel now for at least for the next month or so, right? So.
Well, yeah, it's basically gonna be Hell's Kitchen and Traders for the next month.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed you did this a Gumball Awards video, and I was a bit surprised that Hell's Kitchen wasn't taken into consideration for nominees for those awards. Was there a reason for that?
I just feel like they're fundamentally different games. They're different competitions. I feel like it was kind of hard to compare them. So
no, I understand it's hard to compare them, but maybe no, I understand that. But I'm just saying something I don't know, a best character of the year. I think, I'm not saying that they're the same game. I'm just saying I could say my favorite character of Survivor, and then let's say I have nominees for favorite character Survivor, Big Brother, Challenge, Hell's Kitchen, whatever. I think you could all have nominees for characters, and then let's say pick your favorite as the winner. That was just
I somewhat get what you're saying, but I one thing I take into consideration is that this season did span across both years, and
that's
what
true.
What if somebody's character changes drastically? Let's say, for example, season 7 was in the conversation. Argumentatively, you could have had Benjamin Knack as your favorite character up until he swaps to the red team. If after that happened after the new year and you have him as the best character, then you'd be like, ooh, that take didn't age well.
This is what happens when you have Survivor Gumball on the channel.
Survivor Gumball, I kind of forgot about that. However, I was talking more about season 22, but I'm going to shut up now.
Anyway, yeah. Let's get into Hell's Kitchen talk. Before then, though, got to ask Anthony. So, obviously, why don't you tell the chat real quick, or else, anything about your time on Hell's Kitchen that we didn't get a chance to see, any cool stories, any final thoughts you have about your edits, just kind of fire away.
Man, there's so many thoughts because I feel like Hell's Kitchen was such a lucid dream for me, especially going home so early. But no, one thing I wish they did show more was kind of a lot more of my relationships with a lot more of the teams. I had a really good relationship with Kyle, Hannah, Megan, Amanda, Mags, Brittany as well. A lot of the red team, Whit, and of course my blue team. So it's kind of interesting seeing where the conversations ended or kind of where everything kicked off. But I did wish that a little bit more of a lot of our friendships got portrayed. But at the end of the day, I understand how it goes. I loved my edit. I thought my edit was exactly who I was to the T. I'm not a yeller. I'm not a screamer. I'm not a fighter. I just love cooking good food and cooking good food with good people. So
that
I kind of like that got portrayed on point.
That is except for the lobster claw there.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Between carrots and lobster, I kid you not, I have a do not enter sign in my kitchen with a red arrow for carrots for Dan Barber and lobster for Chef Ramsay. I hate those two items right now.
For what it's worth, while I do think more of an edit would have definitely been good for you because I liked what I saw from you as is. More of that would have been perfectly welcome. I do at least think that at the tail end of that, when we saw you doing the Cook for Your Life challenge and the people deliberating, they were all like we like Anthony, we know he can cook, we hope he comes back. I think at least that was a decent indicator of how much they liked you.
Yeah.
But I can see you being a little unfulfilled at the same time.
Yeah, definitely seeing, because obviously, before the Cook for Your Life challenge, what a lot of people don't know, I literally told my blue team, don't say bye, I'll be back. So it was kind of like I shot myself in the foot at the same time. But, who knows what would have happened in life? I feel like things happen in life for a reason. And, I'm a huge spiritual person. So lucky number 11 for me.
Well, I was going to say, do you feel like this may be destiny? If there is ever a second chance season like the question asked earlier, will you be coming back if you get the call?
Only if it's against All-Stars.
Yeah,
I feel like that had to be a given.
Yeah.
I like this season. I really want to earn it, and I really want to cook against the best. So, if it's a redemption season against all winners or past All Stars, I'm all here for it.
Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's get that going in the chat because you're definitely my number one pick as of right now. He's recently, so I'll even get that in the chat going. I usually don't do that, but if they ever do get in All Stars 2 or second chance, I feel like you have to be biggest lock on the board. So yeah, guys, like as usual, guys, or bring back Anthony, of course. But yeah, guys, as usual, ask away. I'll try to get if I see a good question, I'll answer it. But we'll try to save most of the questions for Anthony at the end there. Because before then, we got to talk about this episode. I'm kind of interested, chat. Let me know, chat, right now, by the way, if you enjoyed this episode or didn't, because I'm seeing a lot of people who didn't like this episode and a lot of people who did like this episode. Again, this season seems to be so polarizing. And on that topic, Ultra, because I got to call you out on this a little bit and that goes for all of you and for the chat as well. Since it's been a month, I was kind of wondering, how did anything change if you rewatched the season or just had time to think? Did anything change during your time away? So Ultra, why don't you tell the chat what your prediction for the final two was over this break?
Yeah, I chose to re-binge the season up to the current episode, so up to Brittany's elimination, and just to see what my thoughts were and if there's anything new I noticed about everything. I guess one small thing I noticed, by the way, is when Egypt was first being isolated from the team, it was over dipping Cheetos in mayo. I'm with him. That sounds nasty, but okay. But upon looking at the first episode, I was like, if I had to lock some people right now based on what I know now and based on how they look back then, I would 100% pick for the final two right now, Hannah and Joe. Ooh. And look what happens the very next episode. No one's perfect. The reason I did that was, with Hannah and Joe, something about what I've seen from them in this season was giving me reminders of season 10 with Christina versus Justin, because Christina and Hannah, both as chefs, are incredibly consistent people who happen to have a somewhat bumpy ride at the start. You could argue how bumpy it was, but the fact that they're both listed in their Wikipedia articles in the early episodes as having mistakes in those services is the only reason I'm going off of. And she's only bumpy by the standards of this cast, for the record. And as for Joe and Justin, like them both quite a bit. And they're both very professional chefs who I felt were consistent throughout the entire season as well. A couple hiccups, but nothing major. And I'd say that Hannah / Christina would have the edge over them either way, because they are both, respectfully, tiny bit cockier. Joe and Justin, again, like them both quite a bit. It's just who has the edge over who I like a little bit more. Either way, I was wrong.
Yeah, so by the way, guys, so Anthony is actually a big fan of the show, right? So I'm kind of interested. So if you do have questions about that, he actually does know quite a bit more than the usual guests. So what is your favorite season of the show?
Oh, man. It's tough because I grew up, I would say, on Chef Sterling season. So that I would say that OG season of Chef Sterling, Chef Kimmy, Chef Brad, I grew up watching them. So I would say what is that? Start of season 8 to 10. I kind of started watching. Obviously I watched the first one to kind of see how the first ever Hell's Kitchen was. Very interesting. So I did a little bit of my homework, but before even coming on the show, I wouldn't say super fan, but I obviously knew kind of how Hell's Kitchen worked. Watched, I would say 5 or 6 seasons. And then obviously when I got the call, I binge watched Young Guns all the way up until season 22.
Sweet. Cool. Yeah, let's get back into this season. I started with the International Cuisine Challenge. I always personally really like these challenges to kind of see what the chefs can do. And Gumball, I'll kind of get to you. It was kind of interesting. Let me see here. So Kyle, so they got to choose. Kyle chose Wit for Redemption, and they got the China dish. Hannah chose Brandon, and they got France. Joe chose Amanda, and they got Greece. And Egypt chose Anne-Marie, and they got Mexican. So I was very interesting, Gumball, because like I said, Brandon was once again super confident. Egypt was super confident, and even Wit was super confident that she would beat Kyle. And they all ended up proving right. Egypt got the best dish of the night. Brandon got a point, and Wit got a point. So that was my big takeaway. Do you kind of agree with that, Gumball, or any even bigger takeaways from your point of view?
Yeah, it's sort of interesting seeing how they all did pretty well in the challenge. In general, I try not to take too much weight into the actual challenges because, again, they're not necessarily indicative of what Ramsay is looking for at all opportunities. But I will say that with this episode, like obviously these are all people who have been like pretty big contenders for a lot of the season. They've been shown to be pretty competent chefs for the most part, which is all pretty good. And I feel like it's just a continuation of that. So I am very interested to see how that proceeds moving forward with these three.
And real quick, Gumball, I know I asked Ultra this as well, but did anything for you kind of change while you had this month break for you, or are you kind of going in this episode the same way you left last year?
I would say I've came into this sort of in a similar situation to last year. Though I will say that this episode did obviously make some changes to at least certain people, but we can talk about that more when we get there.
There's one particular person I'm very, very interested to see. I can't remember if she was number one on your rankings or not, but I'll definitely ask you about her. So Anthony, I'm interested. Out of all the four dishes here, which one would you? Again, was it France, Mexican, Greece, and China? Which one would you have been the most comfortable with doing?
My heartstrings are saying China, just because I specialize in Southeast Asian cooking. But I would say Mexican as well. Just the bold, definite flavors, the spices, everything. It's such a broad range that you can really go with anything Mexican cuisine if you really do it the right way. But those are my two choices. But top one was definitely Mexican.
Cool.
And then I wanted to touch on a question. They asked who was my favorite Hell's Kitchen winner. It's going to surprise a lot of people, but it's actually Chef Michelle.
Of course.
Chef James, I'm so sorry. I know you're my Sue. Chef Michelle, it's just I'm a smaller person in the kitchen as well. That a lot of chefs kind of always look past us and kind of try to bully us. But watching her do her thing and then getting a second shot to come back on the show and ultimately win, I thought that was amazing. And I know here come the comments, here come the roasting.
It'll never end. It'll be 2045 and people will still be like, oh, yep. Michelle this, Michelle that. It just never ends.
Or, hot take,
like not that Michelle's one of my favorite winners, but I can get why people would like her because if you're a hater of Elise, for instance, Michelle is one of 3 winning Hell's Kitchen chefs to mouth off to her and tell her,
"Hey, saying, I don't
think technically so."
Yeah, because I don't think
that's one of our reasons. Chef Michelle, she didn't take no shit, and you let her food do the
I think in the
talking.
Yeah, because I think in the Hell's Kitchen community, like I don't think there's like for example, Anthony, if you say that Michelle's your favorite winner, I don't think that even though that's not she's not the favorite winner of a lot of us. I think at the end of the day, we're not the kind of community where it's like we're gonna get all pissed off and with our pitchforks because you said
I don't know. I mean, Michelle's the only person I think who people do get all pissed off about. If you there are some really weird Michelle haters who just
it depends where you go.
Hence why I said hot take.
Yeah.
Honestly, even the winners with the worst reputations, I'd argue, are not really all that bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Not as people and not as chefs. Are there people who might be more deserving? Sure, but there's also at least 100 or so other chefs in Hell's Kitchen who I hate more than even my least favorite winner. I'm not even sure who my least favorite winner would be. Maybe Holly, but only because I find her kind of boring. Nothing against her otherwise.
But Ruby, let's kind of go over back to the episode here. Let's see. So, let me tell you what the scores are. I saw a really funny comment here. I'll get back to a second. But let's see. So Kyle, so like I kind of said, both Egypt and Anne-Marie got a point. Egypt ended up having the best overall dish. Brandon got the points, and so any other comments you have about this challenge, Ruby, and same question to you that I have for Ultra and Gumball? Did anything kind of change for you over this break?
I think I understand maybe this guest chef or Ramsey probably whispered to the guest chef try to make it a tie or something. But I feel like if they're gonna use somebody to make a tie, they should have given Kyle the point, and they should have not given Joe the point. I don't think that made sense in my opinion. I feel Kyle's dish was better than Joe's.
And yes, I have seen all the flack I got. And I just want to say real quick. I haven't seen too much, but I just want to say I know a lot of it was for putting in Virginia last on season 2 rankings. Like I said, that was just me, and I even my boy Ultra kind of said something about it. That was literally just me kind of trying to mix things up a bit because if I'm being honest, I would have had to do it over again. I probably would have put someone like Sarah last or Tom last, but I literally was just like, okay, let me kind of mix things up a bit. Okay, so let me just make that clear right now that I do. The only reason why I put her last is because I wanted to mix things up, and I just didn't like the fact that she made the final two as a little kid.
Now I want to go to Reddit and find whatever comments these are just so I could upvote them.
I saw a goddamn fucking 5 posts that day or something like that. Same.
Yeah,
I just saw
I got to look these up just so I could upvote them
as well.
Fuck you, Flynn.
Like, if anything, that's a bigger hot take than what you said. So
yeah, so I have not been on Reddit since then. So I saw my name like 5 times that day. So I totally regret. I wish I didn't do the retrospect. I was just trying to mix things up here. And I was like, you know what? 10-year-old me hated the fact that freaking Virginia made the final 2 over Keith. I'm still pissed off about that. So I was just gonna be like, let's just be funny about it, put her last. And holy crap,
No, we're all pissed about it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I did it. I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, really.
I'm sorry. I just love the way you said it. I'm still pissed off about it. The way you said it was hilarious, bro. I'm sorry. It was a meme.
Just to make things lighter, it's okay if I shift the subject for a second back to the episode, because there's something that Ruby said that I actually kind of want to add something extra onto, because you were mentioning that it was a little bit pointless about how the tiebreaker worked. I agree, but maybe not for the exact same reason, because what was the point of giving a tiebreaker on the final dish being Anne-Marie and Egypt when the tiebreaker was Egypt? Why don't you just give him the point then outright?
No, I get that. I just feel like if they're going to do that and they're going to reward Anne-Marie with a point, because they gotta, if you get a point, it's a boost on your resume. I just find it unfair to Kyle, because I feel like he deserved the resume booster, but Joe, on the other hand, like he didn't deserve the point as much as Kyle did. That's just my take. But
actually, that is a good point, because I don't want to jump to the end necessarily, but if he didn't get a point in the reward, I feel what happens at the end would make a tiny bit more sense to me, because otherwise I wasn't entirely sure the ending was warranted, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, it's true. The ending was a bit shocking, and we'll talk about that later.
I'm just writing a comment here real quickly. So what were you guys talking about? I was kind of reading the comments. What were you guys talking about? Hello? Anyone?
Me?
Okay,
No, nothing. We were just talking about Egypt being the tiebreaker, and I thought,
yeah.
Like he deserved the point. Don't get me wrong. I just thought it was a little weird that he broke the tie, despite the fact that he and Anne-Marie were the last dishes to be served, and they both somehow got points. I'm like, well, what was the point of that? Why don't you just give Egypt the point altogether if he had the best dish?
That's where I disagree. Yeah, but that's where I disagree with you, Ultra, because I feel like if Anne-Marie deserves a point, she deserves a point. It's just that
you're not wrong.
For me, the only thing for me is just swap Kyle and Joe, and that challenge is okay for me.
Yeah. So, but again, like you said, Egypt, that was kind of strange. Yeah, you both get a point, but even though it was the last one to go, Egypt was a tiebreaker. Another great moment for Egypt, and that wins the blue team the challenge. And Wit was not too happy about that, Gumball, and she was not happy the entire episode. Remind me again, was she your number 1 overall since last December?
Yeah, so she, in my most recent power ranking, I had actually dropped her to number 2 because we were starting to see some of these cracks forming. I feel like we're already starting to see some cracks, like in terms of her like feeling overconfident, feeling like she's better than everyone on her team, that she's the best person there. And I feel like this episode just in general just goes all in on that. So I feel like at this point, I'm a lot less confident that Wit's going to win at this point.
Incidentally, as far as your power rankings go, Gumball, it greatly amuses me that Brandon was 18th at the end of episode 1 and has never made it above 5th place in your power rankings, and now he's this close to a black jacket. Watch him get eliminated next after I said that. But honestly, I'm kind of
bait. Bye, Amanda, please.
I'll be Amanda who goes home, but we'll see.
Well, in like his defense, though, like I said, I have a hard time imagining Brandon winning the season, so that kind of goes back to his point. But Anthony, kind of talk about if you can real quickly, just talk about, because I know the viewers love to hear this, whether it's the red team, blue team, anyone who you got along with really well, like who was your biggest friend in the dorm, whether it's blue or red, anyone. If you really want to give a spicy take, was there anyone who had something to say about, if it's up to you, obviously, but yeah, real quick to just kind of give us the backstage if you can.
Oh man. I I got along really good with everyone, honestly. But like I would say like the core that I got along the most with, it's gonna surprise people, but it's gonna be Kyle and Egypt, and then Joe and Brandon. And then, of course, on the red team, it was Megan, Magali, Brittany, and Hannah. Not trying to discredit anyone else, but those were the people I really got along with. And, of course, I spent, honestly, the most time with Kyle, ironically, just because of the living situations, all that. And then dude's a good guy. And like I said, from our snippet on my take, Egypt had a lot of, misunderstandings, and a lot of us were head chefs, and we're trying to figure people out. So makes you too, Meg. Yeah. So that's kind of where I stand. I had a lot of really good relationship with most of the cast on there. So it was kind of hard saying who I didn't get along with, because all of us spent so much bonding time together. It's kind of crazy.
For sure. All right. So, yeah, that brings us into charity night. So, Ultra and chat, this goes for you as well. I'm actually, this inspired me with the episode coming up. I wish I kind of did beforehand, but I am doing now my most recent video I'm going to do is a history of charity night. So, Ultra, what's kind of your opinion on the charity night service? And chat, that goes for you as well. Do you like, because looking back, there actually has been a ton of iconic moments that come from this service. So, what's your kind of take on the charity night?
Love them. It's like you said, like every charity night, there's always just something that goes wrong in a pretty big and catastrophic way. That kind of goes to the services that aren't outright charity nights but feel like it, like Hassan's elimination. It wasn't actually a charity night, but it more or less functioned as one, because you had chefs who were leading certain courses, like Hassan and Jared on the chicken. So kind of works the same way. But if you don't count that one, I get it. But yeah, when you have things like the red team in season 9, all bombing their courses, and all for completely different reasons. You have Elise, who's just the worst type of leader. You got Jennifer, who was getting pretty much sabotaged by her teammates, and Elizabeth, who is about as useful a leader as a wet rag. All due respect to Elizabeth, I'm sure she's a nice person, but she just didn't have it in her. You got Sandra bombing courses in season 12.
Well, you also have freaking the whole, just not even just bombing courses, just iconic moments with like Zach and Ray. You have Jose, like someone said, the all-time bad. That entire
blaming
the
two chefs in the last season.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of fun moments to come from. This one wasn't quite as entertaining. I mean, say what you will about the Anne-Marie thing, but yeah. So let's kind of see who was with who. It started with Egypt and Amanda on Nanoki. And Amanda kind of got off to a bad start, but did well enough. And Egypt did pretty damn well. And despite that, he would, I don't even remember, Ruby, do you remember what he messed up on? I can't even, I know it was on this episode. I don't remember.
I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I was half filling in, half not filling in when it comes to the episode and the service, because I had to take care of a tribal council in the org that I'm running, which, by the way, is going okay. Not as great as last time, but it's okay. So you should ask Ultra. I think he paid attention more.
Do you remember what the mistake Egypt did and what Egypt made tonight?
Honestly, it went by pretty fast, so I need to do a rewatch to be sure. I think the mistakes that people mostly remember come from Anne-Marie, but that's partially because they were also, if anybody even remembers this, in the next time on Hell's Kitchen promo from the last episode. It's what you would probably be thinking of. Everybody else, it was like minor stuff, pretty much. Like, I'm not really sure this episode warranted a double elimination.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, but that was it. Just like it, yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously we'll talk about Egypt's nomination here in a second, because from my point of view, he did damn well. I thought he was even in consideration for being the best of the night on the blue team. Two people, obviously, who were not the best of the night, and in fact ended up being their last night in Hell's Kitchen. It was Anne-Marie and Jill on the scalps. Both of them did not do really well at all.
Fish station.
I was just going to say, you have to give the fish station just killing people this year, not only on the station, but charity night dinner services, and even, for Anthony on a challenge, so it's just one of those crazy things. Real quick, Anthony, what stations because it always seems that is like the hardest station. Did you feel that way as well, or what's your thoughts on the stations?
No, so it's funny because I was coming in really afraid of fish station for some reason, just because I've watched Hell's Kitchen and I've always seen chefs go down on fish. But in my honest opinion, it was meat. Meat was just a monster of a station. And with Chef Ramsay, he needs everything on point, not almost to the point. Like it has to be on point, rested, and well seasoned. So, obviously my background's a lot different than a lot of chefs. I'm coming from a more senior living background. So it was just kind of staying true to who I was and remember my training. And, but that station on my first time, I forgot what day in or what episode, but that was probably my hardest night was on the meat station.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then that got us we had Kyle and Whit on the snapper, and Kyle had a huge breakout episode. Yeah, I know he had a Gumball. What's your opinion on Kyle here? I forgot where he was in your power rankings. Remind me, but he was I was thinking if there were to be a double elimination, he was probably most in trouble on the blue team, and here he is having the best service of the night. So, what did you feel about this episode for Kyle? Does this put him maybe winner potential for you? Just kind of give me your thoughts on that, Gumball.
Yeah, I had been following on Kyle in recent weeks. I felt like he wasn't really performing as well as other people had. Maybe think that he wasn't as serious of a contender. I do think this was a better episode for him, obviously. I mean, he did pretty well in the challenge. He did pretty well in the actual service here, obviously. We got some more goofy moments from him, like during the reward and at the very beginning of the episode as well. So like I do feel like I'm probably a little higher on him now, even though I wouldn't still consider him like that top of a contender.
And to go along with that, to finish off, while Brandon did not do that well at all, I was kind of unfortunate by that. Hannah, once again, is just continuing to dominate, and that's why I'm starting to see why everyone's thinking she's going to be a final two, which, again, I hope so, be my draft pick. Ruby, what's your thoughts on Hannah? Once again, another great episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's going to go far. Do I think she's going to win? That's tough. Yeah, I think she's got. I know she's getting a black jacket, but I think she's gonna make the top. She's gonna make the semifinal at least. It's just that's where I'm not sure if she's gonna make the final. I'm not sure if she's gonna win, and I'm gonna have to think about that over the next 20 minutes.
So pretty much everyone made some people are obviously worse than the other, but others pretty much made a little mistake here and there. Oh yeah, Grant with the comment. Yeah, my boy Grant.
That was one thing that I was truly upset about. If anyone wants to ask what was like most upsetting part, it wasn't me going home. It wasn't the fact. It was actually the fact that I couldn't finish off the last service with my team.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's so now we know that. So now we know you're not coming back. Yeah, sometimes.
We know that because of. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Flynn was talking.
Well, like sometimes if someone else doesn't come back, then someone who's eliminated beforehand, you can get the opportunity to come back. But yeah, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, I do. You never really know, especially with how this season's kind of up in the air.
Yeah, you're right. It's just that I think since it was since season 13, like we haven't had since season 13. The only time there was like somebody who didn't come back from that like gift phase point is Matt, and that was only because certain producers on the way out. So
yeah.
Oh,
man, so now we definitely need a second chance season because we got to get back on the screen one more time. Look at all these.
That's why I told Matthias and
Anthony to avoid.
Yeah, Grant was over there, spilling the beans back to back. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I told Matthias, or Matthias Butts, or however we pronounce his first name. That's why I told him, I personally feel that the Cook for Your Life challenge is ironically perfect at the top 11, just so that in case they actually do send a strong chef home, it's kind of like we're saying, oh crap, they just missed out on that gift or jury phase or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah, that Cook for Your Life challenge claimed another one.
Yeah. You're part of an elite group for sure. There's been a lot of talented chefs who have gone home.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be part of the.
Yeah, I'm not saying you were going to, but yeah. But
if we did a ranking of those chefs, I think you're number one.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll take that one.
Yeah.
If it's something to be. All right. So yeah, but like I said, but Hannah and Kyle were the best of the worst tonight. So, and I thought it was interesting, Ultra. Did you kind of think it was interesting that, I mean, I guess in retrospect, it kind of makes sense because I guess he knew deep down he wanted to send 2 people home. But were you surprised at the start when he said, he wanted to nominate 2 people for elimination?
Not really. I've seen that kind of thing happen before when the numbers were down by this much. It's trying to remember when I've seen it, but I know
Battle of the Ages, which was also
Battle of the Ages has happened as recently as then.
But just last year it was just 1 person, so I thought that was weird.
Yeah, but it just comes and goes. I do at least understand him wanting both teams to nominate at least a person, and all the courses were kind of sloppy. So if he wanted to double up on choices, fine. It's again, like, I debate how many people should have gone home, but that's a different story.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So, and a follow-up question, because I was confused because Ramsey said they were the best of the worst, but then when he asked for nominations, Kyle said the blue team's first nominee is this. So, were you able to catch that if that's what he wanted? Like Kyle's nominations, or the blue teams, or Hannah's nominations, red team?
Maybe that's just like a script that they give. I'm not positive. I'll admit it's not accurate to what's going on, obviously, but for luck, I guess you could argue that at this point, because Hannah and Kyle are unequivocally safe and did the best that night, you could say that they represent the blue team in this.
Yeah, because again,
blue team and red team, I should say.
Because it was so odd. It was so odd. Who do I want to talk to about this? I'll talk to all of you about this. It was so odd because it would seem like the fact that Egypt was put up in the first place is odd. So that tells me that, maybe, obviously Brandon and Joe had something to do with that. They kind of ganged up on him, which makes sense. They're trying to save themselves, right? I don't know how the numbers will work there. But what I thought was odd here, Gumball, was the fact that Joe was the one like most willing to, and maybe in retrospect, they were trying to make Joe look bad on his way out, I guess, for some reason. But Joe was the one most willing to save himself to put Egypt up. But yet, and Brandon was just kind of, Kyle flat out told Brandon, you did the worst night, you're going up. And yet Joe was the one who went up and Brandon didn't go up at all over Egypt. Was very, very confused about that whole thing. Like, I don't know, do you have anything to add on to that? I was just really confused.
Yeah, I will say, like, Joe's depiction through the episode was, like, really strange, obviously. I mean, and obviously it makes sense now knowing that he's about to go home here. But, yeah, it's like you had him, like, earlier in the reward. Like, you have him, like, talking about how he's pretty confident making Greek because it's similar to Italian. But then by the end of the challenge, he's like, I guess it's just a messy dish. And, yeah, like, you just have, like, these weird moments that, like, kind of, I guess now that we know that Joe goes home in this way, it's like, yeah, it makes a bit more sense that they try to like make it seem that way. But yeah, like on the whole, it was a very weird episode for Joe.
Yeah, also, it's probably just my ignorance, but like when he said that Greek and Italian are similar to one another, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because like
I've actually heard that comparison before. It didn't strike me as all that off.
I think to be
fair, it's not comparison I make because I actually have never tried Greek cuisine at all, at least not to my knowledge, but it's not the first time I've heard that comparison, is all I'm saying.
It's because when I'll tell you this, like when I go to an Italian restaurant, the Italian food for me, it's, it's what you imagine, or I mean, obviously there's more to it, but like what I imagine when I think Italian is pizza, pasta, stuff around that domain, and that stuff I love. Meanwhile, I go to a Greek restaurant, I look at the menu, and my options are limited as hell. I probably have a steak, that's about it, and maybe fries, because all this souvlaki, like the Greeks, I don't know what it is, but they decide to throw a lot of, let's say, vegetables in their cuisine, and I hate vegetables. I don't like vegetables. I love eating meat, and so Greek food for me, it's not my type.
All right, James, you want me to ask Anthony a question? Well, I got to ask because obviously that's been the big theme of the season. Anthony, what is kind of your whole thoughts on, the whole thing with Egypt this season, how he seems to kind of be like, at the center of attention? Can you give some background on that, which you kind of experienced between what the edit is portraying?
Yeah, my guy Egypt, there's a lot of times where he gets portrayed a lot different than what he really is. Right off the rip, Egypt is a very passionate chef. If you cooked around Egypt, he's strictly about food. And unfortunately, not everyone is so open to that idea because some people were here to be friends. Some people were here to cook and compete. So it was just, the first few hours of us all meshing together and learning about each other and, understanding each other because we're all coming from different walks of life because there's a lot of people that I've met on the show that I have never ever experienced before in my life. Like, I always joke with Joe. You know, I always tell Joe, like, you're my first Italian from New York that I've ever spent this much time around. You know, and it's just learning how they tick, how they move, how they, you know, breathe, talk, and it's, you know, unfortunately, some people got that chance to allow others to learn, and other people didn't. But
okay,
Egypt is a really killer chef, so that's how I'm gonna finish that one off.
For sure, for sure. Speaking of an interesting chef to talk about, what's your? I gotta hear your opinion on this. What do you think of Raj from season 8?
I liked his personality. Definitely a character. I understand why Chef Ramsay got on his ass a lot, but I'll just leave off. I like Raj's character. He was a character in the kitchen, and he did cook some really killer dishes too.
But in case any of you are wondering, he was number 11 in my top 10 list. I literally just put Michael over him just because of what he represented the show. But Raj probably would have been in my top 10. My top 9 were definitely locks. But so yeah, let's get back to it. So, and I think
a quick question before we get back to it. What do you think about the Statue of Liberty, Corbin?
Oh, that's terrible, man. That was terrible. My guy Corbin, if you're watching this, I know we talked, but bro, that was tragic, man. I'm not like,
and to kind of go along with that, like, what was your whole opinion on like the whole triple elimination that night?
So to finish off Corbin, that was a terrible edit. The Statue of Liberty was tragic, horrible. Still a good guy, but the triple elimination was crazy because I remember that day so valid. And you know, I think me, Kyle, Joe, Brandon, Egypt kind of all looked at each other like, yeah, we're down what 2 right now, and then at night we ended up going down 3, and we all went back to dorms like, we got to get our shit together, and we got to get our shit together now.
And one more question for you before we get back to the episode: do you know Joseph from season 6, and what's your opinions on him?
Do you know?
I don't know Joseph from season 6.
Oh man, you gotta.
I'll search him up. Yeah.
Just do that after the stream, and I'm sure you'll have plenty of opinions on him afterwards for sure.
I mean,
cool.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. Go step outside, motherfucker. That guy.
See, now he knows.
He's basically the guy where
the guy took off his chef coat.
Yeah, so you know.
Flynn asked you, "Do you know Joseph from season 6?" And I'm thinking, he asked you, "Do you know?" And I'm thinking, like, have you met Joe? Like, that's Joseph, and that's why I was thinking for a second. Like,
oh no, yeah.
No, I feel like
I'm not no bitch guy. No, I've never met him in person, but that his clip lives rent free in my head so much, especially when I was standing up there watching Eliminations, just waiting for someone to be like, "I'm not no bitch." So,
because that's the thing, like, you don't need to know the guy's name. It's just like if you think of Hell's Kitchen and you have, you know, I'm not saying heard of it. I'm saying a little bit more than hear of Hell's Kitchen. 2 things come to mind: Raj, Joseph, and like maybe 2 other moments that like really
Dave.
stand out.
I'd say Dave, the one-arm bandit.
I don't think so. I think you have to be more of a fan. Like, I'd say like the step above that, you know. But like, because the 2 biggest memes are Raj and Joseph. Like,
yeah, I would say Joseph is probably the best meme to come out of Hell's Kitchen right now. Because I've never seen any other contestant, 1, say that to Chef, and 2, step up to Chef like that, and then 3, finish off, you know, his interview smoking a cigarette, still talking shit. So that was crazy.
Yeah, because like I mentioned Hell's Kitchen to people, or whether they're fans or whether they just heard of Hell's Kitchen or not, I just get so annoyed whenever some people decide to bring up Joseph. I'm like, we get it. That incident happened. The meme happened.
That's why.
What can you expect? Like, not everyone's going to be like a massive super fan like the people in this podcast.
No. I'm saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying even super fans.
It would be that one.
Yeah, I don't remember him by name, but I definitely remember him from being a hot tea kettle and then saying, "I'm not no bitch" to Chef, which is absolutely crazy because he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, dude.
Yeah, I mean, especially back in season 9.
That's like challenging.
I'm really honest with you. If we actually saw Joseph versus Ramsey fight, if we actually saw Joseph versus Ramsey fight, like, I think it's. Everybody likes to comment, "Oh yeah, Ramsey would kick his ass." Well, we don't know that for sure. We have to keep in mind that Joseph was younger than Ramsey.
No. We're not gonna let that happen. He was But we're not even going to discuss the fact that we live in a world where a Ramsey would not kick Joseph's ass. I don't care. Ruby, but I'm not even going to discuss that.
Let me put to you this way, Ruby.
Okay.
Have you ever seen The Karate Kid? Mr. Miyagi was older than every character in those movies, except maybe one or something like that. He'd kick all their asses.
I believe you. That's a movie. And I believe you, though. I believe you. Don't worry. Just Joseph has military experience. I'm going to end it at that. But
I'm just going to leave this note. There was a busy night in service, and, Chef accidentally shoulder teched me, and I swear to God, I've never felt a more solid force hit me during service.
Do you see his forearms when he does this during elimination, especially back in, again, season 6, season 5, when he was in his best condition? It's insane. I mean, he's not like insanely ripped or anything, but good Lord, like those forearms make you stand out.
Yeah.
If you told me Gordon Ramsay had experience as like a Buckingham Palace guard, I believe it.
Exactly.
Sure,
his composure is that solid.
Okay, look what happens, guys. We mentioned Joseph, and this is, but it's all good and fun. This is what we said, Ruby. This is why Joseph is who he is. Look at the conversation we just had about him.
Yeah,
so.
But it's too much. Joseph. We bring up Joseph too much.
Yeah, I know, but people always ask about him. But that's a good point. Because I can't remember who he last had. I don't think Egypt might have.
Like Anthony, you've seen those comments, right? Like it's like somebody makes a comment on a Hell's Kitchen video, and then there's always that one person who says, the X person can speak for themselves.
Yeah. That's just meme culture for you. It's
not even funny anymore.
No, and I see the comments and I appreciate the love, but it's fun hearing everyone's opinion on the show because obviously I went through and then Megan, Hannah, and Kyle, Egypt, Whit, Joe, we all lived it. So it's interesting hearing everyone's perspective and actually knowing what went on behind the scenes and on the scene. So this is fun.
Like I said, guys, I get this comment all the time. If I can get this or this person on stream, I would definitely love to get them. I don't even know. I don't know what Joseph's up to these days. Maybe he has if these guys have a Facebook, let me know. I know. Did anyone real quick? I know we'll get back to this real quickly. But speaking of forums, did anyone see like the most recent picture of Raj? He's looking really good these days.
Wait. There's a recent picture of Raj.
I don't know if it's recent, but like someone posted a while ago that like he was just in great shape. I can't remember where it was, but
congratulations, Raj.
Let me see.
Yeah, he's a lot better. I don't know how he's doing now, but he's got an IG. I'm not sure if you're talking about Raj or Joseph, but yeah, I'll have to that might be the goal for one of these days. I hate to spam someone's inbox.
Not sure if this is a recent image, but here's one image of him that I did find, and there
you go.
Yeah, not looking too bad right there.
Not too bad.
He looks like he's wearing an Ottawa Senators jersey from my small screen.
While we get back on the stream here, I'll try to look for it too. But yeah, all right, cool. Real quick, back to the episode now. See, look, that's Raj and Joseph for you, man. We just it's a huge discussion time. But Gumball, did you feel? I mean, let's be honest. We all kind of knew for a month. It felt like Anne Marie was on borrowed time. It felt like. I mean, even the preview for this episode showed her like freaking Ramsey saying, "Hey, smartass, come here." We all kind of felt he was in serious trouble today. Was there any doubt in your mind? Because we'll talk about the double elimination here, but any doubt in your mind before nominations that she was going home, that she wasn't going home?
No. I felt like the clearest boo was going to be from that red team, and I feel like Anne Marie was probably the most set up, based off the fact that she talked about the Ramsey and stuff, and there's just all this types of stuff and it's been happening. So I was pretty confident this was her time to go.
Oh, yes. And it looked for, well, not really for a scary moment. It looked like it might have been Egypt, but no, after a hard fought game, definitely respect her fight. We say goodbye to Anne Marie. So yeah, guys, chat, give your comments about Anne Marie in the chat. For me personally, again, just one of those interesting, very fun. I really like these underdog types, like as for those of you who know, who went through my series of ranking every contestant, I really like these underdogs who fought hard. And that's the thing. She wasn't just kept around for ratings or anything. She generally, I think, deserved a Survivor, to get the 8th place, and was a great, fun personality. Obviously, have firsthand experience knowing that she's like that in real life too. So, very, very. She might not be that memorable when it's all said and done, but I think definitely could be a contender for a top 5 favorite of mine when I do my rankings for this series for when this season's done. But that's Ultra. What's your thoughts on Anne Marie?
Since I got to meet her, she's a delight. I love how animated she is, both on and off camera.
That's such an underrated comment right there.
Yeah, it's and here's an idea for a video that you or maybe one of us could do maybe at some point that I think she'd be merited in. I'd like to see where she would fit for a lot of people as far as ranking every chef who was nominated the most in their season. I'm pretty sure she was nominated the most.
Actually, that is actually an interesting one. I don't. Yeah,
I think all four of us should do that.
Your last place would be kind of freaking obvious.
Yeah.
Was she nominated the most? Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Elise was nominated the most, but I think Christina is a candidate as well.
Oh, wow. And she counts twice for that list, technically speaking, but you can just count her once if you want to, because everything you have to say about Elise has been said. And that's a fair take.
Let's not start up this Elise thing, because I know the chat's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
I made a whole video about saying that I kind of like watching Elise, but not because I think she's actually a really nice person. No, she's a bitch.
Because here's the thing. I think one thing that should be, we talk about like the obvious memes for Hell's Kitchen, but one thing that should be a meme for Hell's Kitchen is that part where Michelle throws a bottle of water on the ground in front of Elise, and Elise responds, "That's a trippin'." That should be a meme, in my opinion.
I'm sorry. She gives me so much unintentional humor, Elise does. And for that matter, Anne-Marie gave me quite a few pretty cool moments, too, on the show. So, yeah, I like her. This felt like a pretty warranted spot for her to go home after all this. So,
I find Anne-Marie is like, I don't know. I like, as a TV character, I felt she was like, fun and happy and friendly, but at the same time, it seemed one-dimensional at times. But I felt like Brittany was more quirky, and there was more character out of Brittany. But I did like Anne-Marie. I enjoyed her when I met her on the stream, and she had a good run. Except as I predicted, I didn't think she was going to get to the Black Jackets, but she had a good run.
Yeah, Anthony, any other thoughts on Anne-Marie?
No, I loved Anne-Marie. Obviously, she's a person that kind of took me out of the competition.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, it's more of the lobster that took me out before anyone else says that shit on the chat. Anne-Marie is a lovely person. What she was portrayed on the show it's kind of how she is in real life. She's really bubbly, really caring, and she just really a go-getter. She'll make sure that the whole house in the dorm was taken care of, and then she'll take care of herself. So kind of what was portrayed of her is kind of accurate, bubbly, loud, loving, and she can cook. So
yeah, there was a part of me wishing that
real quick, Ribby, what Gumbo overall thoughts on Anne-Marie? Obviously she was up and down your ranking. Yeah, well, she was definitely interesting for your ranking as well. I know she even called you out a couple times on that. So she definitely lasted a lot longer than you thought for sure as well too. So overall thoughts on Anne-Marie?
I mean, she was fun while she was there. I felt like she was a pretty fun character, but yeah, just not someone who I thought was going to get to the Black Jackets by the end of it.
Yeah, I wish that that as far as the edit for tonight was concerned, like it was, I'm kind of in two minds here. On one side, I did enjoy seeing her ask that question to Chef Ramsay that made him think that she was being a smartass. That was fun. Then on the other hand, the problem for me is that it kind of made it obvious who between Anne-Marie and Amanda would be the boot.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think that's the thing. I mean, unless Anne-Marie is perfect tonight, she had to be perfect the rest of the competition, honestly, with how, she, again, as the chat said, I didn't realize she was nominated 6 times. That's actually crazy. I thought it was like.
Yeah, that's a lot. But I know someone on the chat said Scott was nominated a lot more. And I remember Scott's season, which.
Oh, iconic.
The one difference for Scott was that, he was nominated a lot, but oftentimes it was for minor stuff. He was more nominated by default. There's maybe one service where he got nominated where he was making a lot of mistakes, but there was somebody who had been doing worse both in that service and overall. It was during Pizzagate, Chris's elimination. That one is fair. The rest are iffy.
Yeah, I lost my thought.
You're good. Well, you can have your thoughts.
Because I thought Amanda was going home tonight,
me too.
4 weeks ago. That was.
I've been thinking that for a while now. I'm again, all due respect to Amanda, but she's been dropping the ball a lot more often. I don't know how she's still there.
I think it's because she has good social game, or because of some stuff of the other players that we're not seeing on camera, or Amanda is just that's the thing. Is my problem with Amanda was her edit.
Let's say that for the Black Jacket prediction, because we still gotta talk about that, and we also, guys, Ribby has his elimination game to play too, but. Before we get to that, the episode was not done. I thought elimination was a bit earlier, but I didn't think much of it. And we had a double elimination. I think probably the first time ever. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ultra. First time at the final 8 or something like that. We've had a double elimination, and unbelievably, we say goodbye to Joe.
No!
I never really thought of I know a lot of people were saying final 2. I was never really on that train, but I did not expect to like this. I mean, Anthony, you said yourself a big reaction. A chat same for you. Overall thoughts on your boy Joe?
That's my guy. Joe's a tough nut to crack, but once you crack, and peel through his layers, you find who Joe really is. And Joe's just an awesome dude. Of course, him being Italian, he's really honed in on certain things with food, but Joe's awesome. I love cooking with him. I don't know if anyone caught it on the season 2, but me and Joe got paired up a lot. I believe we worked 3 times together on a station with each other. So I got to
season 2.
Huh?
Did you say? I'm not sure if you caught it on season 2.
Yeah, on our season, me and Joe were paired up a lot on Fish Station twice, and I believe Meat Station twice. So I got to actually cook with him a lot and kind of learn who he really was as a human, and that's my guy. That's my dude.
I want to answer a question that Flynn gave me. Flynn, you asked me if it was the first time ever that there had been a double elimination at the final 8. Sort of. Asterisk. If you also count season 5, where at the final 9 there was a Lacey's exit, and at the very same episode, LA gets sent home. It's not the exact same thing, but it's adjacent.
Yeah, because usually the 8th place, like you said, usually the 8th place is always kind of an interesting turning point as you get really close to the Black Jackets. So it's very odd that we have 2 people go home. Usually that means that 2 people are going home for Black Jacket, or like last season, 2 people went home during the Black Jacket service. So just a kind of very odd timing. But yeah, so overall thoughts on Joe going home, Gumball?
Yeah, I mean, Joe is someone who I was a bit confused by. There were points where I was kind of high on him, points where I wasn't as high on him. He just got some weird content here and there. He'd get moments of good content, like talking about his family, but then you have whatever happened, like either it was last episode or a couple episodes ago, where he was talking about how much he missed his family, and then obviously this episode was kind of weird in a lot of ways. I guess this is kind of the reason why, the way for him to go out here, but it's still a weird exit. I thought they would at least wait until the Black Jackets, or at least the challenge to get into the Black Jackets to actually cut him at that point.
And Ruby Ultra, any other final comments about Joe?
I personally find that this episode, the fact that Joe goes home, it makes it so that let's just pretend that they get that all 6 contestants next episode get their Black Jackets. For me, that makes it so that Amanda is basically the Carmen of this season, in the sense that she kind of stands out amongst the group for the wrong reasons. I was kind of expecting Joe to make it further than this, maybe 5th place, maybe 6th place, but
nothing crazy.
Not before the Black Jackets. But
you hear that, Joe? You let us down.
No. We're getting 5 Black Jackets. People in the comments, I know, but I'm just making a point that theoretically I was hoping that, I just hope that this double elimination didn't happen so that we could see Joe get a 6th Black Jacket.
Yeah.
Here's my thoughts on Joe. Had you told me at the beginning of the season, spoiled it, I should say, that Joe would get 7th place, I would have said, yeah, that sounds about right.
I agree.
It's purely on the promos we got for this season and nothing else, because the promos were kind of building up that Joe would be the villain of this season, and that's not actually what we got. I mean, the most we got was the one fight he had with Lulu when she moved over to the team, and even then, that's not really him being a bad guy. I think that they both had pretty valid reasons in their argument. If you side with one over the other, fine. I don't think either of them are 100% in the wrong, nor were either of them 100% in the right.
Yeah, I think with Joe there, he just that's the thing. People don't people can get sometimes uncomfortable seeing a guy blow up at a woman, and I think we see that in the preview without seeing much context behind that, and that's pretty much the only scene we see of Joe, and people say, oh, this guy might be the villain of the season, and that was it, you know.
I didn't even register me that he was yelling at a woman in the promos. It was more just him yelling at all. That's kind of like.
Oh yeah, that was
as far as recency bias goes. If you're thinking of a yelling chef, you're gonna think of Mark from season 9.
Yeah, because Joe only had that one edit where it was a 30-second flash, and then it was straight back to cooking. So,
right. So all things considered, yeah, I like Joe quite a bit. He grew on me quite a lot throughout the season. Through my binge, I think my favorite line from anybody in the season was when he was being asked about, I forget, this one sauce I think he made, and one of the camera people broke the fourth wall and asked him, "Hey, how do you make that sauce?" And he said, "I can't tell you, or I'd have to kill you."
See,
Actually, I love that.
Yeah, this actually makes me think of something. See, Joe had.
By the way, that's Raj, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. I had to Google that. So Joe talked about his family. Egypt talked about his family. Hannah talked about her personal life, and that got me thinking of you, Anthony. How do you feel that they decided to edit you as this misfortune magnet on the show?
It's watching it was kind of crazy because I knew my life was terrible in a sense, and I had a hard life, but I didn't realize how much of a hard life I kind of overcame until seeing the edits and all that. So I didn't really like being pegged as the
sob story.
The sob story.
No offense. I'm assuming that's what you were thinking.
Exactly. Yeah, I was trying to find a nice word for that.
I said misfortune magnet because I was trying to think of a polite way of saying like, oh yeah, let me guess, your dog died too. Like.
Exactly. And that's one of the things. Like, I wasn't trying to go in there and share a sob story, but ultimately that's my life, and I was just trying to really prove to everyone that I can cook, coming from my background, and this shit's not going to stop. So it sucks kind of having me be portrayed as a sob story, but at the end of the day, I'll take my journey and my situation, how it happened, how it ended every time.
Yeah, well, dude, I honestly like that edit because it was, I'm telling you, on your elimination episode, it became kind of a meme. Like when they mentioned your cancer, I mean, I obviously felt really bad for you, but at the same time, there was something about it that made it a meme. It's like on top of everything else, this,
Yeah.
On that note, W on beating it.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure though. Yeah, 100%. That's so cool. Yeah. All right. So we say goodbye unbelievably to Anne-Marie and Joe. So just like that, was not expected, but we go from 8 to 6. Boy, and all of a sudden, I can't believe it, but we are going to get our black jackets unless something completely crazy happens. Ruby, if that does be a final 6, he's just like, no one goes on next week. That'll be something. But unless something crazy like that does happen, it does seem like we are going to get 5 black jackets. So I'm pretty sure I know the answer. The chat's pretty unanimous on this. Ultra, is there any way that Amanda isn't the person to not get a black jacket next episode?
I've been saying it a lot, so I don't want to change my answer. But just for the sake of saying this, I also kept saying during Survivor 43, like my best friend could attest to this in text messages, that I was like, there's no way Gabler is winning this season. And then what happens? Maybe I'm just a magnet for bad predictions within like my favorite shows or something.
Oh yeah, Gabler, man.
So maybe for all I know, I'm inadvertently manifesting an Amanda win. I doubt it, but who knows?
From the Philippines.
Things have happened. But yeah, just based on what we're getting, I think it'd be pretty shocking if she didn't go home. But given how long she's lasted, despite the fact that I think she should have gotten at least nominated since the final 12, who freaking knows? And she's only been nominated for the first time in this episode as is.
Yeah, but God, honestly, Gabler, when he won, okay. But my thoughts on Amanda, it's just now we're going into the final 6, the Black Jacket Challenge, and I'm like, yeah, it's obvious that this is kind of like when we went into the final 7 last season and Jason just stood out.
Yeah.
And Carmen as well, kind of like Jason and Carmen.
What I will say to that, because Jason was obviously being built up, I think they added that 6 black jacket, not only because of the talent, but to make Jason look that bad as a clear villain. Like, I know Amanda's probably the least likable. I wouldn't say least likable, but like the most, I wouldn't even say most deserving.
Unedited. Like
you could argue Wit's a lot less likable than Amanda, but I at least see more credentials to where Wit would deserve the win. Amanda, I think, has been full of too many excuses.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could with a challenge. Maybe they set up Wit to look bad this episode for her to go home. Like it doesn't seem like as clear cut as like Jason. And sometimes in the past, like the fan favorite goes home. So it's like I don't see like a clear cut villain go home like a Tara or Jason, but at the same time, I don't see like Amanda obviously isn't like a fan favorite.
Like,
so I'm wondering, is it really that obvious? Like I'm kind of wondering.
I think with Wit, the reason why they were making her look villainous this episode is because they want to build her up as the person who's not going to win later on in the season. That's how I see it.
They are. Oh, sorry.
Silence. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Gumball, what's your what's your pick, Gumball? Is Amanda? You kind of see what I'm seeing? Because I'm still thinking it is going to be Amanda that goes home, but I could kind of see her sneaking away in a black jacket. Who do you think's gonna go home?
Tragic.
Yeah, like if I had to pick one person, probably Amanda. I feel like she's probably like the easiest person you could cut, or if not, then like the first round of the black jackets. But I think if there's gonna be like one surprise like person to be cut in the spot, I think it
has to be Wit, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
maybe Wit, but like, I'm a bit less.
Wit's undefeated in the challenges, right? Still,
that is true.
But that's the thing. There's one thing that people in the comments are mentioning. If Amanda makes it to the black jackets, we would probably see her being the last person to get the black jacket, the person who goes home in 5th place, and the person who sends home someone who's like a Nikki, a Kane, one of those 6 places that people wanted to get a black jacket.
I'm gonna be frank. I think the Kane or Nikki of this season, like the fan favorite, who everyone says is so much a better chef than whoever should have gone home. Like the most shocking possible person I could think of who would go home if not Amanda, Hannah. I'm sorry, Hannah is at this point my winner pick. I'm jealous that Flynn got to pick her first because I would have picked her as well because she has just been that solid this season. If she goes home at the final 6, I'll be like, my goodness,
could be
I thought Anthony was the most.
But if Egypt or Kyle go home too, like that would suck over Amanda,
I don't know. I might be a bold prediction here. I might think that we might get like a surprising exit next week and Amanda gets black jacket. I don't know. It just doesn't. I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, because a lot of people are saying, I really hope Amanda this, Amanda that. I really hope she goes home. Like, I don't think, I hope the other 5. I'm obviously rooting for the other 5 over her, but it's like I could very well see like a surprise elimination next week.
Well, I know I have to admit, like I kind of sounded a bit rude in the past minute the way I was talking about it, but it's only because Amanda's like as a character, I don't see what's like. I find like the other 5 characters are more like they're attracting me more. Like with Amanda, I'm not getting much. Like at the edit's not much there, and it's nothing against Amanda. I'm sure she's a great person. It's just that's unfortunately what she's getting in the edit.
I agree with Ruby. It's not even that she's all that unlikable. There's just not much full-on likable stuff to really latch on to. Like, again, nothing really major that I could say or like, no, I hate her. No, it's just a question of like, is anyone going to pick her as their favorite of the season?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like everybody else, I could see somebody's calling their favorite, even Wit.
Yeah.
But Amanda, I just wouldn't get it.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, any other thoughts you guys have on the episode? Anthony, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Finish that one.
Yeah, any other thoughts you guys have on the episode?
Trying to think.
And if not, chat. Obviously, questions. So Ruby's going to do his game here real quick, his elimination. Ruby, get that ready. And we'll ask.
Oh, I'm sorry. The impression that Kyle gave of Joe at the beginning. That made me laugh.
Oh, yeah. He had a great episode between making everyone laugh and had a great episode. That's been Gumball's biggest problem with Kyle is that he's not serious enough. Well, he had a great night tonight, so it was like a win-win, right?
It is like something I'm conflicted about because like I feel like this episode is definitely a better look for Kyle that he's doing that, but again, like it feels like sometimes we're seeing it in a positive light, sometimes we're seeing it in a negative light. So again, we'll see where it goes.
Something I've always sort of noticed about Hell's Kitchen winners, they're not usually the biggest character of their season.
Yeah.
Like you could argue that, like I like Flynn, you have a couple winners as your favorite character or your best characters. That's fair, but I think most would agree that as likable as people like as like Dave or Scott Cummings are, there were people who were more memorable in both their seasons.
I have one question for all of you before we move on. Did any? I mean, I know Anthony. Maybe it's a different story because you were there. But Flynn, Ultra, Gumball comment section. Were any of you a bit surprised when you heard that Egypt has a Mexican heritage?
Yeah.
Not really. Okay, really? Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't instantly thinking it, but it's not one of those things that immediately had me shocked.
No, I know, but okay, you're right. It didn't have me shocked, but at the same time, when I heard that, I was like, oh, cool. We got the Milo Morales of the kitchen here. That's how I see it, right?
And he,
that's a comment by every definition.
He speaks fluent Spanish too.
Cool. Yeah, and that explains why his name is like Egyptio or something, right?
Okay.
Honestly, I think upon
I'm probably
going
saying
through my memories,
wrong.
I kind of do hear a tiny bit of a Mexican accent in him. It's not like it's pretty subtle, but it's somewhat there.
So let's finish off the street. Anthony, we're gonna say something, or?
Yeah, someone asked a really good question. My favorite season of Hell's Kitchen. It's actually the season before our season, 22.
That's not a bad answer.
I mean, there were really great chefs on the show, but Chef Jonathan and Chef Ryan, man, they some dogs. So seeing that before my season kind of like really amped me up, and then obviously hearing that we were all head chefs just kind of turned it up a whole nother notch. So,
and speaking of turn up a notch, another question: what is the Cook for Your Life challenge from your perspective? Like, what is that actually like? And I'm sure I can only imagine.
It's stressful because you don't know that. I remember that day. Whoever was in the Cook for Your Life challenge, none of us really thought we would be there. I mean, it was me and Brandon and Lulu. I mean, not saying anything against the other chefs, but I know I wasn't one of the weaker blue chefs. So, I understood I bombed one of the challenges and I overthought in some of the challenges, but that kind of like mentally got me. I'm like, wow, I'm actually in the Cook for Your Life challenge. Holy shit. Like, what the hell? And then you don't know what's coming. It could be cook anything, obviously, like lobster, crab, beef, or something like that. So that's my mind is just, all right, what's going to go in on this challenge and what do I have to do to stay, obviously. So it's just a whole bunch of stress.
For sure. I can imagine. Yeah.
I mean, having For Your Life in the title, that only makes sense.
Yeah.
It lives up to his name, that's for sure. All right, Ruby, you ready to give where you at, Ruby, right now with the elimination?
We were at 100 going into the Christmas break, and after this stream, we're going to be at 74.
Oh, wow. So we're going to lose a lot of people. All right, guys. So as usual, for those of you who are new, it's just pretty much a popularity contest. So we're at the top 100. These are the official top 100 favorite contestants when it comes to at least Ruby subscribers. So Ruby, kind of quickly here, fire away.
Yeah, okay. So as you guys know, we decided to do it a bit differently where it's going based on the voting score. If you guys not sure what it is, just look into previous videos for that. So in 100th, we've got Allison Rivera with voting score of -5. Because you guys had to vote for who you guys had to vote to save people this time. And the people with the lowest voting scores would be the ones, getting the boot instead of the highest number of elimination votes. 99th, bye-bye.
No!
Bye-bye.
No!
Bye-bye, one of the memes of season 22.
No! I was so hoping to be top 3, Brad, Mateus, and Tad.
Yeah, well, he's at least it's a top 100 somewhere. So, and then I'm surprised he didn't go home earlier. We got Chris Mendonca.
Hope he's doing better as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Well, I mean, I hope he is, but I'm sure he is too. Next, we've got Chef Joe from season 15.
Like a Farm Fan Factory, you're just lost.
Next, we got runner-up of season 11, Mary.
I never found it on the wire.
And then Anthony, I've got a treat just for you. Chef Michelle.
Hey.
There we go. Man, barely made the top 3. That's crazy.
Well, treat would imply she hadn't been eliminated, but okay.
Next, we've got Adam Laval from season 14.
I'm a tiny bit surprised he made it this far. Nothing against him, but it's just like, he's not the biggest character, but all right.
Yeah, and then we've got not a big meme in the global scale of things, but in the Hell's Kitchen community, Dewberry.
Dewberry. Oh my
Brad
goodness.
Pitt's wife.
Yeah. The first ever person to make the final service. We've got Devin from season 16. Sweetie Pie. We've got Chad Gelso from season 15.
Okay.
And then we've got another season 23 rep. Oh, actually, no, the first season 23 rep. Any takers?
I have no idea where we're at.
No idea.
You said the first season 23 rep? Like we haven't had anybody eliminate from the season?
I think we're gonna have 2 more season 23 reps.
You mean just for this chat?
So, guys, I'll give you a hint that somebody's still in the game.
Oh wow!
As in, not even one of the people like they're in the final 6.
Yeah.
Kyle.
That's me, right?
Hannah.
Okay, who's your least likable member of the final 6 besides Amanda?
Whit.
Brandon.
Whit.
Oh wow, it is Whit.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to meet her. I don't want to be harsh, but sorry, it's instinct.
Okay. 89th is Clemenza.
Did Whit come in 90th?
I did.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. Yeah.
How?
Well, it's because there's a popularity of 361 contestants, Anthony. So
Okay.
The top 100 is at least the top third.
Okay, yeah. Let me double back. Sorry.
Okay, 88th. We've got
Anthony's you're still in too, Anthony, right? Anthony's still in too, right? Or was he?
Anthony? Yeah, I think he's still in. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
88th is Robert Hesse. Okay, we're switching pictures.
Big time players for sure too.
Yeah, 87th, we've got Sandra from 22. And then we've got Sad from season 13, or Sade, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm about to say.
I said Sad as a joke, but like.
Oh.
Because remember the signature dish there? Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, 85th, Ed from season 7.
Ironically, I got a lot of people forget was in the season. I like him.
Yeah, I know. I think he made it this far because people forgot he was on that season. 84th, Alejandro.
My boy, yeah.
My guy.
Yeah.
My guy too, yeah.
Man, he's cool.
And then 83rd, we've got the Devin of season 14, Randy.
Another Cook for Your Life boot. Or excuse me, not boot, charity night boot. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay, 82nd, we got another season 23 boot. This one, season 23 boot. This one actually went already. So any takers? I'll give you a hint. They're a bit like Anne Marie in terms of their bubbliness, except this one is hyper bubbly.
Matt Magali.
Oh, Magali, yeah. Should have done.
Mags.
Yeah, I made it like you guys saw my meme about Magali there, where it's like happy,
Yeah,
sad.
yeah.
And then we got I mentioned her as one of the right before the black jacket boots.
Oh, I don't know.
Of this season or
anytime. Anybody who was eliminated over somebody else who everybody says, they should have gone home over this person and missed the black jacket.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was easy.
Okay.
And then the last of the season 23 boots.
Man.
And this one is literally the last of the season 23 boots so far.
Oh, Joe. Oh man. Oh no. Another double whammy. Another double whammy elimination night. He's eliminated Hell's Kitchen and Rippy's game.
Oh man, that's
kind of like Lulu the other time.
Yeah, I know that happened to someone else. I can't remember what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 79th. We got a winner.
Oh, winner. Oh wow.
Scott Cummings?
No, a good winner.
Rock.
Oh,
come on, man! Don't.
No, I'm sorry. I don't find Scott one of the better winners.
Janelle, forgettable.
No, later.
Ryan.
Natasha.
Season 16, Ryan, to be more specific.
Later.
Michelle? Oh. No, we already did Ariel.
Trenton.
Oh, Corey. Yeah, Corey. There we go.
Yeah. We gotta memorialize that part where it's like, Scott Cummings, no, a good winner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, seriously, dude, don't diss Scott like that. You already got to judge it from the chat once, man.
I'm sorry, Jason should have won that, in my opinion. All right.
Whoever said Joe pulled a Clemenza, that's sick. That's not right, man.
Okay. I don't get that reference. I guess I forgot season 10. Season 78. It's been a long time, seriously. 78th. I mentioned this person as kind of like the person who stood out amongst the final 6 last season for the wrong reason.
Carmen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carmen was solid.
She wasn't even.
I felt she got solid. Yeah, you're right. I agree. She got solid later on, but I felt like the other 5 were like solid since day 1.
Yeah.
77th, the person who should have made the finale over Virginia.
Yeah. Oh God.
Keith.
No, is Virginia over her? I'm gonna be over him. Oh God.
No. Virginia's gone already.
She's been gone for a while.
I've been like, oh man, that would have broke me.
All right. 2 more. This one is somebody another person who got cut right before the Black Jackets in the challenge. This one from season 21. You've got 2 picks here.
Oh, Sakari.
Sakari.
Yeah, because Tara was already cut.
Oh, my twin.
I get it. Yeah, you guys. It's true. You guys
I
look
don't
a
see
bit
the
alike.
resemblance all that much. Although you are both very similar calibers of chefs, at least, like talent-wise.
Yeah, he's a great chef. I've talked to him here and there after the show, and he's a really killer chef and great human as well. So,
and last one, somebody who some might argue should have won season 12 over Scott and Jason.
Yeah,
Melanie.
Rochelle.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if Rochelle's on here, I'm like, huh?
Yeah, Rochelle will be left. All right, so
yeah, Rochelle too. Like I think.
Speaking of this poll, actually, I want to say something, and I don't normally do this, but I feel I should at this point. We're at what, the final 78 now? You said
74.
74. Okay, so I looked at the poll a little bit beforehand, like in the link below here, just to see, like, okay, let me sort of say it is who you're eliminating this time, right?
14 people are going to go home, and I'm suggesting you pick 20 people to eliminate just in case. But
right.
Yeah.
There's one person specifically that I'm surprised is this far in, because I'm like, nope, sorry, they're the easiest freaking eliminate for this, in my opinion. Jay from season 7. Now, granted, I know he's gotten a better reputation in recent seasons as a sous chef, but if we're just talking about season 7, I'm sorry. While Andrew and Scott and Benjamin get all the flack, rightfully so. They are worse than him. I'm sorry. Jay is an easy 4th worst and potentially 4th worst of the entire season. Like, not only did I find him like really smug, but I don't know how many people remember this one. Not that you want to, but he actually used a word that's considered a slur. I don't know if it was considered a slur back then, but it is now at least. During the final 6, when Benjamin won reward and he said the guy should, quote, enjoy your F day. You can fill in the blanks what the F's supposed to stand for.
Get the F out. Jeez. So with that said, guys,
I think how the F word was treated back in the 2000s rather than the 2010s and 20s was a bit different. I'm not trying to say it was a good thing that he said that, but I'm just saying, to be fair, it was a bit different.
I do get that. It's just one of those things where, given like how things have changed, you'd think people would be more on him for that.
Yeah, but like, I'm not into cancel culture, so I'm not gonna be taking down Jay's statue just because he said something back then. And yes, Flit, I'll shut up.
I did start it.
It's been an amazing stream, yeah, but I don't want to go on for too long, guys. So, because I see someone shared a comment or money with me, or for another comment for Anthony. So, so you said 14 people are going home, Ruby, this week, but
14 14, and Anthony, can you say it in whatever other languages you know?
So I'm fluent in Vietnamese. Okay. I used to speak French and understand French, but I kind of lost that over the years, and I'm learning how to speak Japanese again. So I used to be able to speak 4 languages. I grew up in a real melting pot of a household, and I owe so much to that because it kind of molded who I was and who I am.
I envy that experience and diversity.
Nice. So please say 14 in Vietnamese and Japanese.
Huh?
14 in Vietnamese and Japanese.
14. Oh shit. Japanese, I'm gonna fail because I can't make it past 0 right now. I'm gonna be real with that. But
that's funny.
Vietnamese is mi bom.
Okay.
Mi bom.
Mi bom.
Mi bom.
All right. So yeah, mi bom people will be going home in Ruby's game for next week, guys. So be sure to, there's the poll to go to his channel and vote. And as we wrap up stream, thank you so much to ARP for the $5 donation. So Anthony, one more question for you tonight. What is some advice you could give to an aspiring chef?
Honestly, trust your gut and stay true to who you are. Don't listen to anyone else or don't let anyone influence you. Of course, you're going to have your chef mentors that you're going to pay homage to. But I took the dark horse route. I didn't really go into restaurants. I cooked in one Michelin for 2 months. I've spent most of my background in senior living and just learning from great mentors. So trust your gut. Don't be afraid to go against the grain of not following the traditional restaurants, and just be genuine. That's how I got where I am now. Just being genuine, learning separating business from personal, because in the kitchen it's straight business, and I had to learn that at a really young age of not taking the insults straight to heart, because ultimately I'm going to be that chef to be there. And when I run my brigade, I'm not going to talk down to my team. So I'll learn what I need to learn at this moment, leave to my next journey, learn there, and then just continue. But my biggest preach is stay true to you, trust your gut, and it's going to happen. Don't listen to the outside noise. It took 10 hard years to get to this point, and I'm not even close to being done. So anything's literally possible. Just don't listen to the noise.
Good words, man. Good words. And this, again, I speak for all of us here. I speak for the chat as well. It's so great to have you on this epic first podcast of 2025. And again, you have to be the biggest lock for second chance. So I hope we see you again on TV. But where can people, between that time, hopefully, where can people find you? What can people expect from you going forward?
People can find me on Instagram. I'm the most active on my Instagram of Chef Anthony Jovo. Literally how my name's spelled. I just made a Facebook and a TikTok. I'm kind of old, even though I'm just 29, having a hard time navigating that right now. But
I feel the same way about it, yeah.
Oh man, it's so weird. But mainly on Instagram, I love talking back to everyone and sharing my experience and just talking food. But right now, my pop-up starting up, my nonprofits for charity for so many things. Foster kids, how I grew up. Mental health is a big one. Homeless is a big one as well. So I just did a turkey drive. Thank you. I just did another charity drive for foster kids for Coach right now in the wintertime, because that's something that's not looked upon. And then I'm hosting another nonprofit for mental health, because chef mental health right now is underrated and that's not talked about, and mental health in general. So I'm just here using the platform to, better people's life and educate.
Absolutely appreciate that, man. Yeah, it was great to have you. Like I said, guys, so hopefully, I hope, I can't promise anything, but I hope to have another season 23 contestant on for next week. Again, I won't promise anything like in the past, but that's the hope for right now. And for this Sunday, again, this is another one I'm not sure about because I've had copyright issues with it. So I might save it to next week just to be sure. But after doing the season 16 Blue Team retrospective, I'm now this Sunday to get 2025 started out with a bang. I'll be doing a retrospective on the season 10 Red Team, aka the Hell's Bitches season 10 Red Team. So that is 99% sure I'll do that. I might not, but that's what to expect from me going forward. And Ruby Ultra Gumball, do you guys have any other things you got planned for 2025?
I'm just still right now I'm doing the I'm running season 2 Survivor org on Discord. But as far as my YouTube channel is concerned, I'm just so focused on my masters right now that these past months I've just been all talk, no action regarding my YouTube channel and whatever. I'm not gonna promise anything to you guys for my YouTube channel. But if something comes up, it'll just come up and you all will be surprised.
Ultra, what's your big thing for 2025?
Well, first off, just a couple of days ago, I premiered my 1,500 subscriber special, going over the 120 biggest songs of 2010, because I also talk about music. And speaking of this year, currently on my docket is the worst and best hit songs of 2024 and of 2014. The worst of 2014 is already filmed. I just got to start editing it. It takes a while. But outside of that, my goal praying I can actually do this, is to finally finish up my Total Drama reviews of Total Drama World Tour, which I've been doing since 2021. Yeesh, I'm too long with this. And as far as Hell's Kitchen videos, you can expect me ranking every Hell's Kitchen welcome wagon. That's the parts of Hell's Kitchen that happened right before the signature dishes start. And there's 2 other videos in question that I have in mind instantly. One of them is the top 10 times that Hell's Kitchen chefs stood up to their bullies, because I find that an incredibly inspiring, empowering moment in the show. Anytime in reality TV, if you see somebody do that, like, that person deserves all the credit in the world. And then, because I find this a very interesting idea, the top 10 double elimination episodes in Hell's Kitchen, as in any episode where at least 2 chefs went home. It doesn't matter how they went home, but 2 of them had to have gone home. Now,
all right.
And no, the triple one is not going to count. I'm going for specifically doubles.
So you got a new one.
At least, take away the words at least.
And Gumball, same thing for you. I already kind of said Traders and Hell's Kitchen, right?
Yeah, so like those are probably going to be my focus in the near future. I am currently recording a pretty massive Survivor video, pretty big ranking, so that should be coming up relatively soon.
I'm sure the comments will be. Well, we'll let them. I will be surprised. I'm sure the comments will be so nice for you for there too.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right, guys. Holy crap! Yeah, the 90-minute stream. This is the longest stream we've ever had, and for good reason. Again, a lot to talk about. So glad to have Anthony.
It was a good one.
Well, yeah, it was a good one. Way to get 2025 off with a bang, guys. Like I said, be sure to check out whatever video I post Sunday, and be sure to come back next week, hopefully with a guest. And until next time, happy 2025, y'all. Hope y'all complete your goals and have a good one. Peace.